Hi, second grade. So this is lesson number 19. We are going to go over quadruple meter. We're going to sing Are You Sleeping? Then we're going to try to do Rocky Mountain and write it on the staff. And then we are going to have a story time with Gabriella's song, and a great story about a girl who has a song, and we'll see what happens with it. And then I want to see how was making your string instruments. If you haven't done it yet, I'll put the video in the description again. But from the last lesson, we talked about making our own string instruments, and I put a video in that link, okay? So let's start with quadruple meter. Remember, Are You Sleeping is in quadruple meter. So let's sing it once first, and then we'll remind ourselves what that means again, okay? So, to and everyone sing, are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing. Ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. All right, so now tap your knees. Let's do a steady beat on your knees like this. I want you to count how many phrases. Actually, let's do this. Let's do a steady beat first, and then we'll do something else. Ready, steady beat. Are you sleeping? Steady beat. Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing. Ding, ding, dong. Ding, ding, dong. All right, so now I want you to take your hands and do an ostinato. Remember, an ostinato is a rhythm that repeats over and over again. You're gonna do ta, tika, tika, ti, ti, sh. Ta, tika, tika, ti, ti, sh. Like this. Ta, tika, tika, ti, ti, sh. Ta, tika, tika, ti, ti, sh. Okay? And as you do ta, I want you the ta to be loud. Tika, tika, ti, ti, like this. Ta, ta, tika, tika, ti, ti. Let's try it. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Loud ta. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing. Ding, ding, dong. Ding, ding, dong. All right, friends, so now let's try, and I want you to tell me how many beats are in phrase one. Ready? Take your hand like this. How many beats? Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? How many beats are in that phrase? Tap your knees. Count again. Ready? And. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? There are 8, right? Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? The first phrase has 8 beats. Now, do all beats feel the same in this? Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? No, right? Some are stronger than the others. I want you to tell me which beats feel the strongest. Ready, and. Are you sleeping? Oh, sorry, I did front count. Ready, and go. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Which beats are the strongest? Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? 1 and 5, right? Really make 1 and 5 nice and loud. Ready, and go. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? If 1 and 5 are strong, how would you describe the other ones? Sing it again. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? They're weaker, right? So now let's see if we can do this. I want you to clap the strong beats, and then with your fingertips, tap on your knees the weak beats. Ready, and go. Are you sleeping? Are you sleep? Keep going. Brother John, Brother John. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing. Ding, ding, dong. Ding, ding, dong. All right, friends. So remember, quadruple meter means strong, weak, weak, weak. So is Are You Sleeping in quadruple meter? It is, right? There are 4 beats and strong, weak, 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 strong, weak, weak, weak. It follows that same pattern, right? So we would say that Are You Sleeping is in quadruple meter. So now let's try another song, Rocky Mountain. Let's sing it once and then we're going to see if we can write that last phrase on the staff. Ready and go. Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain high. When you're on that Rocky Mountain, hang your head and cry. Do, 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 remember me. Do, 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 remember me. All right, so the last phrase is do, do, do remember me. So now I'm gonna draw 5 lines on the staff and I wanna see what we can do with that. Now, what are the hand signs for that last phrase? I'll give you a hint. The first one is do, do, what are those? So the first one, do, and today we're going to put do here on the second line, okay? So do, do, mi. If do is on the second line, mi is on the third line because there's a skip, right? Do, mi is a skip. Do, mi, so. Mi, so is also a skip. So we do line, line, right? Do, mi, so, la. That's a step, right? So and la is a step. So we go from the line to the space. If it's a skip, we skip over whatever's in between. Do, mi, so, la. If you said mi, mi, re, re, do, you're right. So where is mi again? Do is here. Mi, oh. So do, mi, so, la, mi, mi. Now mi and re is a step, right? So we're not going to skip down. We're going to go down here. Re, re, do, and I'll make this line longer. All right, and the rhythm is ta, 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 ti, 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 ta. That is the last phrase, all right? So let's say now what the hand signs are again. Do, mi, so, la, mi, mi. What's next? Re, re, do. All right, friends, try the whole thing with your hand signs. 1 and 2 and that 4th phrase. Do, mi, so, la, mi, mi, re, re, do. Very nice, friends. All right, let's listen to this story called Gabriella's Song. It's one of my favorite stories because it's about music and what happens when this girl is singing her song. This is Gabriella's Song, written by Candace Fleming, and it's illustrated by Giselle Potter. Ready? Ah, Venice, the city of the Piazza San Marco, the Grand Canal, and St. Mark's Cathedral. But to Gabriella Menza, Venice was something more. Venice was the city of music. On her way home from the marketplace, Gabriella heard the morning melody of the street traders singing their wares. Fresh, fresh fish, hot pie, buy my sweet, sweet cream. She heard the rhythm of the tethered boats thumping against the canal walls. Bump-de-bump-de-bump-de-bump. And echoing in harmony down the paved alleyways and between the high buildings, she heard the slap-slap of drying laundry and the flap-flap-flap-flap of pigeons' wings, the ting-a-ling-ling of the lyre, and the ting-a-ling of the church bells. Do you see all these things here? Then, way in the distance, rising sweet and clear, Gabriella heard her mother's call. Gabriella, Gabriella, amor mio, come home. Her mother's voice mingled with the city's sounds, and with Gabriella's heart, they blended and blurred and became a song. Humming the song that sprang to her lips, Gabriella skipped down the lane toward home. As she passed Pagliani's bakery, she decided to stop for a morning pastry. "One cannoli, please, Signore Pagliani," Gabriella told the baker. While she waited, she hummed her song. "What is that you're singing?" asked Pagliani. "Just a little tune," replied Gabriella. She hummed louder so he could hear. The baker whistled a few bars himself. "Oh, why, that's good," he said. "It makes my heart light and my feet feel like dancing." "I like it too," agreed Gabriella. She handed Pagliani a coin, took her cannoli, and still humming, skipped out the door. Gabriella's song stayed behind. The baker whistled it while kneading dough. He whistled it while filling pastries, and he whistled it while waiting at the window, awaiting on the widow, Santucci. "Ah," sighed the widow, "such a sad song. It makes me long for my younger, happier days." "Really?" replied Pagliani. "It makes me feel younger and happier." The widow blew her nose. "Oh, songs mean different things to different people. If it makes you feel happy, then whistle away, senor. Whistle away." Picking up her shopping basket, the widow Santucci left the bakery with 4 loaves of bread and Gabriella's song. So she thought it was sad, right? As she climbed into the gondola, the widow began to hum. "That's a catchy tune," cried Luigi, the gondolier. "What is it?" "I do not know," replied the widow. "I heard it from the baker. It's so sad, no?" "No!" exclaimed the gondolier. "That's not a sad song. That's a love song. Listen." He clutched his accordion to his heart and played Gabriella's song. Now the music wafted and weaved on the breeze. It alighted on the ears of other gondoliers gliding through the waterways, who snatched up their accordions and joined in. Now in Venice, they have streets and things, but they have a lot of waterways and canals. So a lot of people get around on these boats called gondolas, and they go around, and this is how their city looks, right? Just rivers and canalways everywhere. It wound its way down the streets, where housewives heard it and hummed. Dock workers listened, then whistled, and school children sang aloud. Gabriella's song reverberated through all of Venice. That means like the song bounced off all the walls and it went everywhere. Everyone heard it. But one man did not hear it. The brilliant composer, Giuseppe Del Pietro. Instead, he sat at his piano staring at the black and white keys. In just a few weeks, the composer was expected to perform his newest symphony in the Piazza San Marco. But after months of hard work, he could not create the simplest tune. For the first time in his career, Giuseppe Del Pietro could not find the music. Frustrated, Giuseppe pushed away from his piano and walked to the window, and he opened it wide. Like a miracle, the music found him. Rising to greet him from below came the sweetest tune he had ever heard. The composer leaned out his window and looked down. There at the doorway of his very own building, Gabriella's mother was saying, "Sing it again, mio amore. I want to remember it always," said Gabriella. So Gabriella sang. Her mother smiled. She swayed, her eyes shut tight. Above them, Giuseppe shut his eyes too, and gave himself up to the music. The notes he heard, the slip-slap of drying laundry and the flap-flap of pigeons' wings. He heard the jingling of the lyre and the tingling of the church bells. And above it all, he heard the clear, sweet call of "Mi amore, mi amore." "That's it," Giuseppe cried. Snatching the song from the air, he dashed to his piano and scribbled furiously in his notebook. Then he played back what he had written. "Bellissima!" he exclaimed. "But it's not finished yet. It needs more." Day and night the composer worked. He added an opening movement, a scherzo, and a grand finale. He turned Gabriella's song into a symphony. Weeks later, music lovers from all over Venice filled the Piazza San Marco to hear Del Pietro's newest work. Luigi and his fellow gondoliers were there, and so was the widow Santucci and Pagliani the baker, and Gabriella sitting beside her mother. A hush fell over the audience as the composer raised his baton. He gave the downbeat. Instantly, the orchestra burst into life. The music soared and swirled, it climbed and curled, and it grew higher and higher and higher still until strings, woodwinds, and percussion met in a heart-stopping crescendo. The audience shivered from the music's beauty. In the familiar tune, they heard laundry and pigeons, the lyre and church bells. They heard happiness and sadness and love. The audience knew that this was by far Del Pietro's greatest symphony. Look at all the things that they heard, the different things that people felt from the music. The music faded. The audience sprang to its feet. "Bravo!" they applauded. "Bravissimo!" Giuseppe Del Pietro turned to face the admiring crowd. "Grazie," or "thank you," he said, bowing. "But I alone cannot take credit for this music. Weeks ago I was inspired by a simple song I heard outside my window. To whoever was singing, I now say grazie." In the audience, the gondoliers turned toward Luigi. But Luigi turned toward the widow Santucci. The widow turned to Pagliani the baker, and the baker turned toward Gabriella. And Gabriella turned toward her mother. Wide smiles spread across both their faces. "Take a bow, mi amore," her mother urged. "Take a bow." Isn't that amazing? So all of that came from the song that she made. And this is what you get to do next. In the description of this post and the video on YouTube, I'm going to put a link called Voice Spinner, where you get to make your own song. So you're going to click on the link Voice Spinner, and you can make your own song. And then you can play with it, you can play it backwards, you can make it change by adding different things. But this is a way that you can record and create your own song like Gabriella. Maybe it won't have flapping of laundry, maybe it'll have the sound of the subway. Or maybe it'll have the sound of your washing machine, or people on the street, or honking cars, or whatever you might hear around in your apartment or in your neighborhood. So make up your own song, and then you can send it to Mr. Kyle, and I would love to hear it, all right? Bye, second grade. See you next time.